Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Across the Pond. Tonight, I have one co-host, Adam, the Cloud Cartel UK. Angela is unfortunately under the weather this week, so she will be here in spirit. We will send all of our love to her. But we do have a very special guest at the very last moment, Mr. Logan Exhales.
Yeah, thanks for. I was just going to tell people I just forgot to wear my red lipstick today. That's why I look a little different. But yeah, thanks for having me on, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. It was definitely a last-ditch effort. Hey, can we get somebody on? Because, people come here and they stare at our ugly faces all the time. They need a pretty bearded one to look at for a little while.
Yeah, I was going to say the beard is really it, man. That's why I grew it out. It distracts people from the rest of this.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like an episode of Whose Line, where the games are made up just like Adam's beard, and the points don't matter.
Yeah. I'm trying.
You're working on it, man.
I'm trying.
Whenever I'm asked, Mallory, didn't I just see you stalking me? Mallory, you're the one stalking me here. This is the second show in a row you've tuned in just to see this beard. You're stalking me. We got to keep this right. Whenever people ask me about my beard, and they're like, Logan, what's the secret to growing a good beard? And I just tell people, don't shave. That's all I did. I just stopped shaving, and I wound up with a good beard.
My problem is I look like Mr. Miyagi. Whenever the wind blows, it just sort of flutters and it's white.
Oh, yeah. You should see me on a motorcycle. It's like it's a rough day.
Oh, geez, we got a Facebook user. It's actually my old boss from many years ago.
Oh dear, you gotta behave yourself now.
No, absolutely not. I didn't behave myself when I worked for her. Why am I gonna behave myself now?
I've got a decent pin patch.
Yeah, he's not signing your checks anymore. There's no responsibility there.
Okay, so let's just start right off with a bit of a buffet. Tonight I've got the Vaporesso Cross 2 with some weird Abe nicotine salt blue raspberry thing. It's not bad.
Abe?
Did
you get that liquid 4 and 7 years ago?
I did. It's been steeping for that long. It's amazing. I have the Pulse AIO with the green panels and a nice little shamrock button from Lucky 13 Mods. Inside, I have, finally, it's blurred. I don't get it. What the fuck?
That's why I asked. Why are you all blurry?
I guess I'm censoring myself.
You gotta clean your camera lens.
There we go. The Mullen Bridge.
You got some schmutz on the side that's
no, that's just my face. That was graciously sent over from across the pond. Adam bought me that for my birthday, along with an entire box of sweets that are almost gone. And inside that Mullen Bridge,
how?
You forget I have kids.
How?
You forget I have 2 kids that constantly eat stuff.
They do. That's like
there's like one.
It's almost like it's a necessity that they eat things.
And inside that Mullen Bridge, they're deep cuts, guava jelly, guava lemonade from Eric. Oh my god!
Is it a guava lemonade?
Yeah,
that's interesting. I've heard that it tastes very similar to a liquid that I really used to enjoy from a company that I will not name, and so I have to try it. I'm a big fan of Eric's liquids. I think I've only had the first 3 from Eric. but I think the only one I haven't had other than this one is Blueberry. The Blueberry Hill.
Blueberry Hill is amazing.
I have not had Blueberry Hill, but I've had the other 3 other than this one. PB Party, the Cruller, and Dragon Shake I've had. All excellent.
So Blueberry Hill, for me, didn't go well in like a cloudy setup.
More of an MTL kind of thing.
It was more of like I needed to get a restricted lung off of it, like single coil. I threw it in a Boro, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
But
it's
for
funny
some
how
reason,
certain liquids can be that way. You know, some liquids really shine in like a dual coil, high temp situation, and some liquids are just better in like a lower, you know, wattage restricted or like an MTL type situation. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as drinks, I've just got a iced tea and water. Can't drink.
I just have good old dihydrogen monoxide. H2O. For anybody out there with hemophobia.
Is that all you're vaping on, Josh?
That's what I got. So here, folks, if you want to catch a nap while Adam does his buffet.
I was going to let Logan go next. Go on.
Oh, okay.
I'll go
Logan's
last.
already got a pillow.
My pillow's built in. Nah, I came ready. Came prepared.
I got to get me one of them chairs. Go ahead, Logan. What do you got?
Oh, me? I'm going?
Yeah, that's what we said. We're waiting for you.
Oh, all right. All right. I've really only got a few other things, but I'll just share these 2 real quick. I've got the Aspire Mix with the Unicorn Nevermore MTL tank on there. I cannot pronounce his name or where he's from, but he makes excellent tips, and I've got a nice little wood tip from him.
Is that Oleg?
Oh, Oleg? Oleg,
yeah.
Oleg from
he makes some
I
amazing.
can never pronounce his name, and I always forget where in the world he's from. I know I'm a really big fan of the products that he makes, but I'm a terrible fan at remembering who he is or where he's from. But I've got a nice little wood tip from him on here, and in that I've got some 10 milligram blood orange champagne from Wayne over at DIY or Die that I mixed up. And then the other thing I'm vaping on right now is the V1 Avalanche from Snowcaps. Citadel sitting on top of there, and that's an Amber Chiquita tip from DHD. Got a nice little ODB wrap on this 21, this 30T here. And in that, I've got some lemon berry from my good friend Tom over at Masshole Vapors. And that's it. That's my buffet. Quick buffet. We're not going back for seconds. Just a few things on the plate, and I'll pass it on to you.
Get comfy. I've actually got quite a bit because I've just been mixing and playing a lot with a load of shit.
I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic because I might snore.
Good. I'll be quick. Got the Trio Life Series mech with the Axial Pro. In there is Banana Man. The usual heavy hit OG recoil. And in there is Sapodilla Strawberry and Watermelon, which is fucking amazing. I've got the vape shell on the suck box with a silly drip tip. And in there is Posh toothpaste. That's just what it tastes like. I don't actually know what it is. Got the Ether Bridge and the Snowcap Denali Nightmare 25. And in that is a new one I got sent, which is Country Fudge by Amatorium, which is really good. So I told you I was quick, and I'm drinking some water.
Wow, that was pretty quick.
Wow.
Don't hang about. But that Country Fudge is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Really good. It's like, you know, when you go to like a little village and they do like there's like a little family owned shop and they do the little packets of fudge. They're like the paper packet. Yeah. That is fucking identical. It is so good. But it tastes different in the series. In the mech to the Ether Bridge. It's really weird.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about when Josh was doing his buffet. Is, you know, depending on your setup, your situation, your wattage, chamber size, airflow, all of those things affect liquid. Yeah. You know, everything, every little change affects how a liquid tastes.
It's great in both, but on the mech, it's like the warm creaminess comes through a bit more.
Yeah,
on the MTL, it's just really fudgy, if you know what I mean. So if you mixed it in with an ice cream liquid, I think it would be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But it is worth giving it a go if you can get hold of it. We've got Anthony Ramella. Hello, mate.
Ooh, Mr. Anthony Ramella. How you doing, man?
But yeah, that's me. That's me done. And I actually do vape them all. You'll see. I rummage. I've got like 10 other things up there. I might just see over and grab.
I get like that sometimes. I get on these kicks where I have a bunch of setups and I'll set different stuff up. I get bored really easy. And then I'll have that day where I just look at my desk and I'm like, no, this isn't okay. And I just start tearing things apart, breaking it down until I have like 2 or 3 setups. I'm usually, my comfort zone is right around 2 or 3, but I have weeks where it gets away from me.
Yeah, I've got like 10 RDAs already set up, ready to go. Got my billet box and loads of other stuff. So I will just lean over and just grab some other stuff when this doesn't make me feel satisfied enough.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Satisfaction is the key,
Exactly. If it keeps you off the ciggies, that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how's everyone been doing? You been up to much?
I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. I see Sea-Moose. I also saw Matt, who is now referring to him as Sea-Moose, which I love.
Sea-Moose. So we have the Matt and Sea-Moose show?
Yes, yeah. You got the Sewer and Sea-Moose show.
The Sewer and Sea-Moose show. All right.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Welcome to season 2, officially, I guess. No, Bogan's episode was season 2 opener. But anyway, welcome to season 2. We've got a pretty heavy guest load. Legion, how are you, bud? Who sent you over? Because I know a ton of people say that, somebody sent them to your live stream. So who sent you here? We've got a pretty heavy guest load at the beginning of the year. We're looking forward to sharing them with you. Some may be a surprise. Some you may know. But, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. We'll get there when we get there. I was in Disney the end of last month, and it was just me and the wife, and we had an absolute blast. Had some amazing food. Got to sleep in for once.
I saw all that food in the Discord.
And we had a bit of an issue with the Rise of the Resistance queue. So we got stuck for like an hour inside the line. Now, mind you, if it were outside, I would have been fine because it was actually nice and cool in Florida for once. We were stuck probably about 100 yards from the actual gates to where you get in the little buggy for the ride. Shut down. Had no idea. Line wasn't moving. What the hell? Wife checks the app and says, oh, yeah, it's temporarily closed. Nobody says a word. It's like 45 minutes in. Lots of people are getting pissed off at this point. Me included. A little panic attack going on. So much fun. So finally, a cast member opens up an emergency exit and people just start piling out. So I make my way over to some guest relations booth and said my piece. And he's like, okay, so let me tell you this. Because Lucasfilms owns the rights to the 2 Star Wars land, essentially, it's such an immersive experience that they don't allow a cast member to come into the queue or come over a loudspeaker to tell you that the ride has been broken down. I says, that's dangerous, right? Like, really dangerous. Health and human safety wise. He's like, oh yeah, we know. Disney executives know. They're actively trying to yank those rights away from Lucasfilms simply because they've had so many complaints about that specific ride. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if there was something that broke down, there was something that was hazardous, something like that, they can't even tell anybody. All they can do is close the gate and leave everybody outside. Like that's you would think that there would be something in that clause about extenuating circumstances or something that would, permit staff to do
somebody
something.
freaking dying in the line, you can't go in there.
Yeah, that's.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, that's absurd. I'm loving that gooseneck, by the way.
Amazon, £1.
Yeah. Yeah, loving that gooseneck.
It's a bit long, but I have cracked a tooth.
So
once.
you just pop it right in there and
just sit in the corner. Yeah. Otherwise, you will lose teeth.
Yeah.
Well, mine are pretty fucked up anyway, so it would only make it look better.
So I'm actually going to forego our little advocacy talk, and just go ahead and tell everybody to head over to CASA and listen to Mr. Logan Exhales and the wonderful people of CASA doing their live stream and their podcast and everything else. Join CASA. It's free. If you want to donate, you can donate. Go for it. It doesn't hurt. But everybody over there is an absolute wealth of knowledge. If you're into, if advocacy is your thing, which it should be, being a vapor in the United States or anywhere for that matter, also go head over to Grim Green's YouTube and check out Tuesday Bro Newsday with Danielle Jones. It's every other week now, I think. I can't remember. I'm horrible. Anyway, so yeah, everybody go over to CASA, do the call to action, do your thing, educate the uneducated, educate a smoker, convert a smoker. Because vapors talking to vapors is like talking to a wall. Everybody knows the information. Some of them care more than others, unfortunately. But anything going on in the UK, Adam, as far as advocacy goes? Anything new?
If I'm honest, I'm bad. I haven't been paying attention. I've been elbow deep in baby shit and all that, and I haven't had time to have a look. I think
one of the one of the things that I'm excited about that's happening across the pond your way is the UK is revisiting snus. For a long time, snus has been banned in the UK, being tied to the TBD and part of the the EU and their ban on snus, which is absurd and anti-science. And the UK leading the charge in a lot of tobacco harm reduction areas. I'm excited for them to re-review and look into the science and efficacy of people switching to snus products or smokeless tobacco as well, and hopefully seeing the UK, seeing the UK lift their ban on snus. We have 50 plus years of science that backs
I'm not blurred anymore,
and oral tobacco, and I'm really excited to see what the UK does in that department.
I'm still amazed the amount of vapors in the UK. We are nearly getting to the point, just from my own personal experience, that we're nearly outnumbering smokers now.
Yeah.
And I think in the UK more than anywhere else, we're all tight-fisted bastards, and I can speak for the majority. And the price of cigarettes, $14.99 for a pack of cigarettes. Most people are like, fuck that. I can go down the shop, buy a disposable for £2. But the UK is very, very much on the disposable market when it comes to, like, I know a load of people that go to the pub and they, rather than buy cigarettes, they'll buy 4 disposables, have them in their pocket, and they vape that while they're drinking. Because if you lose it, it's a couple of quid at the end of the day, isn't it? Rather than having to try and lug something like a massive box down to the pub.
Sure. And I think there's a lot of benefits to disposables outside of, and I don't know what it's like in the UK, but for us in the US, the biggest issue with disposables right now is the actual recycling of them. A lot of people tend to throw them away. If you're using a disposable, don't just throw it in the trash, please. It contains a lithium-ion battery. And the biggest thing that we're seeing here is like waste facilities that handle garbage and trash. Disposables still containing that lithium-ion, that LiPo battery. They're being crushed. They're starting fires. They're causing explosions. And it is absolutely a massive problem that we have. And it's not to say that disposables are a bad thing or that they don't deserve a place on the market. I think they absolutely do. For
Oh,
a lot of people, it's
100%,
the entry point to vaping for a lot of people, and they're much more convenient. I think they absolutely deserve a place in the market, but I think we have a lot to work on in regards to how we dispose of them.
Well, in my area, I know 2 places that take like batteries to recycle, and they're all empty. All disposables are either on the pavement or in the bin.
Yeah.
Outside the pub, if I leave for work at like 4:30 in the morning, and you drive past the pub, it's like a multicolored just floor where people are just dashing them on the floor in the drains and stuff.
Yeah, which is a big shame, you know.
Yeah, and obviously it's disposable at the end of the day. You can't. It would be better if there was some way of shops going, okay, you bring your disposables to us, we'll give you 5% off your next purchase.
Sure, and I know some shops do this, and I'm going to shout out Mark Sliss out in Michigan and his shop, because he has a program like that where he also takes it upon himself to go through these and actually dismantle them and take the batteries out of the disposables themselves, recycles all the plastic and all the rest of the waste separately, and takes all of those batteries to an actual battery recycling facility. Now, I don't expect every vape shop employee to take it upon themselves to do that, but I think it's an excellent thing, and I really wish more people would. And I just think that people, we as a responsibility, should do a better job at how we dispose of these things. We're going to get to the point where this is an argument that's going to be used against vapors, just like cigarette butts and litter has been an argument used against cigarettes and people who smoke for a really long time. That argument is going to be used against us at some point unless we, do a better job at how we handle them.
Because you can see it more rather than, I know when I was a smoker and I was outside the pub, I'd just throw them on the floor. That's what I used to do, and I'll hold my hands up to it. And people are doing that with disposables, and it's easier to see 50 disposables on the floor than 100 cigarettes on the floor. Yeah. And it's obviously it's visually it's a lot more unappealing, and all they're doing is they're sweeping them up, and they're not. The local council ain't disposing of them correctly. It's going in a black bag, and that's going in the landfill or wherever they take it. But I use disposables in the car when I'm driving.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think there's definitely 100% a place for disposables. But as I agree with you when you're talking about like the disposal of the disposables.
Yeah. I really wish we would call them recyclables, but I know that's a big ask.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, it's disposable, right? Plastic breaks down in like a year. I'll just throw it on the ground. It's fine. No, it's absolutely not. So people out there that use them, look into recycling places, look into what you can do, see if your local vape shops have a buyback kind of program, or even just a recycling program themselves, as opposed to just throwing it out,
Well, I've got about 30 to 40 vape shops in walking distance from my house, and I've asked, I'd say about 10 of them, and all of them said no. Put them in a bin.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Put them in a bin, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really my only gripe with disposables. I use them. I don't use them regularly, but I do use them. If I happen to have that oh shit moment that I forgot something, I usually keep a couple in the glove box or what have you, in my work truck, in the car, whatever. Just there you go.
Yeah,
it's there. Speaking of disposables, I was actually talking to. I'm not going to name any names for the sake of future products, but I was speaking with somebody earlier, and he is wanting to enter the UK market. But is there a regulatory process for disposables to be sold in the UK?
I would assume so. But right now, I wouldn't be able to answer that question because, again, since Brexit, since the UK leaving, they're kind of rewriting the TPD now as we speak, essentially. And those regulations are kind of, as far as I know, kind of up in the air. I think while they do and go through this process, I believe all their old regulations are still kind of just being the placeholder. as far as, short fills. Like, you guys still all have short fills and a 2 mil limit and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think all of those old regulations are just being used as a placeholder right now until they do finalize their own rulemaking process. That's my assumption. So I would go ahead and say whatever process was in place beforehand, that's going to be the process right now for him entering that market.
Get him to check out that UK VIA, because they're always up to date with all the parliamentary shit.
Yeah, I tried looking up something earlier this afternoon, and it was literally just an article from 2019 saying that they were going to revamp and kind of step away from the TPD after Brexit.
No.
And then COVID hit the year after and just kind of put a damper on everything. And I mean, as slow as the UK is, now they're even slower because of COVID.
Anthony Ramel said not to mention the excessive packaging for disposables. I agree, not only in the nicotine arena, but also in the cannabis arena, which Anthony Ramel is very familiar with. That applies there as well. And this is also another argument against some of those TPD rules like short fills, because it's just an excessive amount of packaging that goes into keeping the nicotine separate from the rest of the e-liquid. And there's really no reason for it. All of the smaller amount stuff that the UK has really just creates more waste in the long run. It's really unnecessary. It's a barrier for a lot of people. And I'm really hopeful that, your updated things as the UK kind of takes its own control over this stuff. I'm really hopeful to see that some of that changes.
I have a weird opinion on that. I love the short field only for the fact of if I want 1.5 milligram nicotine, because that's generally what I vape.
Sure.
I can tailor it to what I want. I can understand, obviously, the packaging. When you get nicotine, you got your bottle, you got the bit of paper, you got the cardboard box with it.
Yeah.
And if you want 3 mil, you need 2 of them, and it's all just going in the bin.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they go to vape shops, I know this for a lot of vape shops, they say, can I have that in 3 milligram? And they will mix it up there for them. So they don't have to touch it. But if you want to, you can.
Right.
And bottles of nicotine are going for like 40p. And most shops will throw them in like 2, 3 for every. So if you're buying 120 mil, you get 2 nick shots for free.
Yeah.
So
I agree for a lot of people, especially as far as, that's kind of been one of the biggest things in the DIY community. And we used to, at least in the US market, have a lot more variety in our nick strengths, but the market kind of changed and we shifted away from that to a select few. But yeah, I agree. I mean, the more that you have control over your nick levels, the better. But the downside to that for you guys is massive waste.
Unless there's a way of you having a bottle when you go to a vape shop, right? I want this. I want like 5 mils of nick, and you have your bottle, and they have like a pump out 5 mils. There you go. And then obviously, I think that obviously would, but I don't think the UK wouldn't. We're too lazy to do shit like that. We rather you give us the bottles and we just do it. But the waste side of it is incredible. Like if I buy 6 bottles of liquid, the amount of waste that I get out of it. Because I don't know why the UK, most of these bottles come in little containers as well. More cardboard.
Sure. Yeah, the waste is incredible. And I'm with you. I mean, as far as my MTL goes, I'm with you. I vape 10 milligram. In all my in everything else, it's either 3 or 6, pending what I'm vaping, what's satisfying, whatnot. But all of my MTL stuff is 10 milligram, and I mix it myself. 10 milligram is a level that's never been on the U.S. market. We've always gone 0, 3, 6, increments of 3 milligram at a time. So I'm kind of an outlier there. But I get my nicotine in bulk, and I use concentrates and stuff like that. I don't really mix. I do the lazy mixing, where I buy flavor shots and I mix from there. I'm with you. The more that we can customize and tailor to our own personal needs, the better. But we also have to acknowledge the downsides that come with that and see if we can find a better way to do that other than, filling an entire trash can every week when we're just trying to vape.
It's easily done. It's easy, especially if you go on a bit of a binge and you go, fuck it, I'm going to buy a month's worth of liquids. Like I've got a little bin like this big under my table here. I can fill it. Just shit.
And you think you're just one person?
Yeah. We need to find another way of getting that nicotine to you, and I know the UK I know I'm broadly speaking for the UK here, but if we had to do what the Australians did, and you get like a big bottle of nicotine, then you have to make sure you label it, you freeze it so it doesn't go off.
Oh, sure. I've got I don't know how many thousands of mils of nicotine sitting in my fridge right now.
Yeah, you'd find like I know I wouldn't do it.
Oh, my freezer, excuse me.
Yeah, I think looking at it from that side, obviously there's that danger aspect, obviously getting on your hands, and there's a vast amount of nicotine that can be dangerous if you ingest just the nicotine.
Yeah,
to a point. I think if we had to go that way, I think a lot of UK vapors would be like, "Fuck that! I'm going back to cigarettes," or going down the disposable routes.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one for the UK because we're so stuck in our ways, and I love the short fill fact, but we need to work on the waste. And if you can come up with a brilliant idea, bring it over.
Yeah. I mean, even something like a bigger bottle that has, measurements on it or something, or gives you instructions as to how much, or like a bottle where every squeeze is a certain amount that comes out. Could make something really easy, reduce waste. It could just make a lot of things better. But unfortunately, TPD rules get in the way of all of that as well. So I'm really hopeful for you guys that some serious thought and consideration for all this stuff gets put into the new rulemaking. But I guess time will tell.
I do believe that we have the good people in place to write better rules.
By the way, the squeeze bottle thing, that's $1 million idea for someone out there for free. That just does a certain amount every time. That's $1 million idea. If somebody doesn't hop on this, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Or the old pubs, the old shot things. You just push it up into the dispensary.
Oh yeah, you stick on your window. Yeah,
the 5 mil at a time.
Yeah. I think something like that would work really well to accommodate, like you said. You use 1.5, you use whatever. If every pump, every squeeze, whatever was a specific amount, and you could still tailor your nicotine level that way while reducing all this risk, that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, 100%. You all right there, Josh?
I'm sorry. I'm paying attention to you guys, and I'm also selling Girl Scout cookies.
Ooh.
Oh,
a little side hustle going on.
Yeah. So if anybody here wants Girl Scout cookies, I know none of you are local to me. DM me later on, and I'll send you the link.
I literally just bought and ate the Girl Scout cookies the other day, Josh. So I'm good.
Not that kind of Girl Scout cookies. The Girl Scout cookies that I sell will go along well with those Girl Scout cookies. Especially with a nice tall glass of milk.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, if anybody's up to spending a little bit of dough helping out my my oldest daughter get some money off of the summer camp, shoot me a message anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, what have you. And I'll get you the link, and just make sure you hit shipping and not girl delivered, because I'm not sending my kid on a plane to go deliver you fucking cookies.
Man, we're already fucking 33 minutes in. Bloody hell.
So,
right, we'll jump straight into main topic now.
Yeah. See how we go off on a tangent? So the main topic tonight was definitely supposed to be all about music. We're supposed to have a good friend of mine on who is a touring musician. But he got called into his actual job. And like I said,
now we got Logan to come sing us a song.
Enough to give us the inside scoop on OnlyFeets and give us a little bit of a background on who Logan is, what he does, if you don't know. But we'll also be diving into a little bit of music and what are we listening to kind of like at the moment. What's been our go-to genre, band, what have you. I'd say like the last month or so.
Right on.
So what do we want to start off with? Music or all about Logan?
That's Logan. Who are you?
I'm Logan.
Done.
I never really know what to say when I get asked this and who I am and what I do. First and foremost, I'm a father. That my kids are everything. Other than that, I'm I'm a vapor. I'm a harm reductionist. I care about people. I care about bringing down the drug war that we have in this country. I believe in ensuring people's access to safer products, harm reduction. And yeah, I do a lot. I do a lot of shows. I recently got an affiliate status on Twitch. I do a lot of Twitch streaming. Thank you.
I don't know what that means, but
I've moved. That means I can get paid.
Okay.
So I've recently moved some things away from Instagram and kind of consolidated my content there. But yeah, I guess that's kind of the short and quick version of who I am and what I do.
What does Logan do on his downtime?
I play a lot of video games. I hang out with my kids. I cook dinner. I work. Yeah, I work a lot. Yeah, that's, I think, pretty typical standard stuff. I don't do anything outrageous. I don't bungee jump or jump out of planes or anything like that. But in the summer, I go skateboarding a lot with my kids. I'm a big fan of skateboarding. I've been skateboarding for most of my life. But yeah, that's I guess that's the short and quick of it.
You're also a pretty motivational person. I remember just over a year ago talking to you, being a guest on the Rise and Vape for a roundtable episode.
You were on a roundtable episode, yeah.
That was when I didn't want to show my face on YouTube and was even more weary about being on any sort of media platform. But you had a huge hand in it, as did Jay and a couple other people, giving me that one final push. And
yeah, I remember you bringing up to me doing something, whether it was a podcast or a show. Yep. I remember when you messaged me sometime along the lines before you did your first Instagram live about going live. And I was, just do it, man. Just do it, Yep.
So definitely.
All I can ever tell people about going live or creating content or anything like that is, I think people, they make a lot of things up in their head about how it's going to go and negatively, and just do it. Do it. Your friends are going to tune in. You're going to attract the audience that cares about you and likes and respects you for what you do and what you bring to conversations, or the entertainment, the value in you that you bring. And just do it.
Well, apparently people are pretty entertained because they keep coming back.
See, because it's a shit show, so it always goes wrong.
That's what they tune in for. It's the it's the entertainment value and all that. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm happy to see you doing it. I think you guys have a great show. Originally, I came solely just for Angela. So I'm super. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most people do.
Yeah.
Notice how there was only a couple of episodes between being just a podcast and then moving over to YouTube. That was just me and Adam, and then Angela showed up, and then our views just went through the roof.
Yeah.
Well, because at the beginning it was just two fat guys talking about food. Exactly. Everything went back to food. Nobody wants to sit there and watch us drooling over food.
It's like half of the shows on the Food Network right now.
Yeah.
But it never ceases to stop. Any conversation we could be having one of the serious conversations we have ever had, and I'll go, ooh, food, and I look at this, or have you had that? And he's like, and it just ends up with a 2-hour-long conversation about food.
Yeah. Well, I love food. I'm a big fan.
I'm on a diet, so I love food even more at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Those pictures that you post up on the Discord of your culinary aptitudes are pretty good. They look pretty good. I'm gonna have
try.
To steal some recipes.
I've ran a few kitchens in my day. It's what I used to do before I got into landscaping and fence and construction and things like that I do now. I was an assistant kitchen manager for 2 different restaurants. So at the time, after I got done doing that, I had a bittersweet attitude towards cooking. When you do it as a profession, it tends to lose some of its You know, it's luster, but you know, years later, I've definitely found a new love for it, and I just love cooking from home, and I just love feeding people. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
You sound like my bloody wife.
Yeah,
That's I put on
yeah,
so
but I
much
mean,
weight.
it's a really rewarding thing to feed people and to give like that. And I think it's a special thing. And maybe that's just like a human ingrained in our DNA kind of thing. But
Yeah.
You just like to feed people. I mean,
Sure.
it's food is very. I mean, not only is music kind of like ingrained in our DNA that
Absolutely.
humans, people in general, like music, whatever it happens to be, whether it's classical or fucking thrash metal.
Yeah. I mean, we made music before we made language.
Right. It's ingrained in our DNA that we enjoy food. Other people enjoy food. Why don't you have friends over and you all enjoy food? But let's not get into food because we'll be here for hours. Most
See what I did?
recently, what type of music have you really been listening to lately? Is there anything specific that has just like, because I go from genre to genre, band to band, and I'm all over the place. I love all kinds of music. But every once in a while I get stuck in a certain genre. Has there anything like that for you recently?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of metal, which is just kind of my sweet spot anymore. Growing up, my dad was he was a DJ for a radio station, for a classic rock radio station. I grew up on a lot of classic rock. But then, around the age of about 10 or so, I found punk rock. So I really grew up on a lot of punk rock, a lot of real American hardcore, SOA, Gangrene, things like that. So my music tends to be, a lot of punk rock, a lot of metal. I played in punk bands. I played in a metal band. I sang in a metal band. I played guitar in a punk band. And so that those are kind of my roots. So those are like my comfort music. A lot of punk rock, a lot of metal. But yeah, my music can range all over the place. I listen to indie stuff. I like a lot of folk music. I love some. Maybe I'm not the most into like rap and hip hop, but I'm a big fan of like real good lyrical rap artists. Hove is it, man, the king. I mean, Jay-Z. But I'm a big fan of folks like Logic and stuff like that too. So my music can range a lot, but for me, like comfort wise, metal and punk rock are always just like my fallback. I listen to a lot of metal core for people who want to get into metal genres. I listen to a lot of metal core. I kind of grew up and I'm 30. So here, for us growing up, coming of age, it was kind of the emo, screamo, metalcore era. I was very much still, deep into punk rock at that point. But that was definitely like the community, the kids, my friends were very much into that music, and I dipped my toes into a lot of it at that age. So I still enjoy a lot of that music too. I listen to a lot of classic rock while I'm working, just because our local radio station does a really good job, and they have a lot of really good programs. So, yeah, man. But metal and punk rock are always my go-to fallback. Those are my happy places.
Nice.
The louder and angrier it is, the happier I am.
It's weird how that works out.
Isn't that amazing how that works? But it's funny, like that kind of music can really go both ways for me. Like I can chill and jam and relax to music like that, or I can use it for motivation. I'm all over the place. But really, yeah, I would say just metal and punk rock are really kind of the core of me musically.
Nice. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's the same over in the UK, but a majority of the people that I grew up with, and the majority of the people that I have spoken to within our age bracket, because we're all pretty much close to the same age as one another, that obviously everybody's going to get their beginnings in music from their parents. Yeah. But a lot of it over here in the States, at least, is like classic rock. You're listening to Kiss and REO Speedwagon and, those, classic rock, bands, and then you kind of form your own tastes after that.
Sure.
And I was very big into classic rock. Still am. I love classic rock. It's a whole lot of fun. What scares me though is what I listened to in high school is now considered classic rock.
Sure. I just the other day on that classic rock station that I listened to, they were like, and now, classic rock, home of whoever, and now home of Green Day. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, something popped up the other day. What was it? Newfound Glory, Sticks and Stones. It's 20 years old.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, what?
And I think back to like Green Day, like Dookie was one of the first albums I ever had. Like that was one of the, that was one of those introductory albums. When I found punk rock, I have to thank my cousin Matt for it. He was basically like you listen to a lot of 80s music with your dad. Here's some 80s music you've never listened to.
Yeah, right.
And he handed me like Black Flag My War album, which my heart, man. Oh, that album like lives rent free in my head every day. But one of those albums was Dookie. And so like I'm listening to the radio the other day and it goes from like Led Zeppelin to Green Day. And they were like, this is classic rock. And I was like, oh, I'm getting old, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
For me, it was I've always been scattered throughout the genres. Obviously, like I said, growing up, classic rock, different friends, when you move on to different schools, you start listening to what they were listening to. I had a huge phase for the Psychopathic Records guys, ICP, Twisted, Blaze, that whole genre. I still listen to them to this day. Not quite as, I don't follow them as closely as I used to, but I still listen. Right now, like I have been stuck in the punk rock. I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, I was just about
You guys
to say your
getting an echo?
Yeah,
That's
only
weird.
a little one.
Anyway, I've been stuck in punk rock for what seems to be months now, and going and jumping from Sex Pistols to Green Day to even Punk Rock Factory. Their covers to Disney songs are absolutely amazing. And everything else just peppered in between. It's just been a lot of fun. I mean, the Boss Tones, the local people,
mighty Boss Tones, man.
Flogging Molly,
a little bit of ska in there though,
right?
Yeah, dude,
Flogging Molly,
Big D in the kids table. Come on,
Dropkick.
Oh yeah,
it's just, I mean, not because I'm from Massachusetts, but I mean it's just good music, and they've been around for so long and been through so much that they just nail it. Not the biggest rap fan. I'm more like 90s hip hop, like
sure.
And even like the OGs, Biggie, Tupac, that's the kind of rap that I like to listen to.
Sure.
I'm not a huge fan of today's rap.
I can be. Again, I can't get down with a lot of like mumble rap.
Yeah.
And house rap, trap music, stuff like that. But if it's lyrical, I can vibe with it. There's a lot of really great artists out there who are just lyrical masterminds, and that's what I'm after in rap. I want to listen to somebody spit straight fire. I don't want to hear the same line 30 different times in a row with some funky beats in the background. Like I want to hear some genius laid out on paper. That's what I want. But different folks, different strokes, to each their own. I think music is an incredibly important thing. I'm not trying to knock anybody's tastes or anything.
Right.
That's.
I mean, you can't. Who can look at me with a straight face and tell me that they don't instantly start to vibe out when you hear California Love on the radio?
Sure.
That the instant it comes on, that first few notes, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're trying to sing along, but you suck. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to listen to a lot of Hobson, a lot of Logic. You know, a lot. I used to listen to a lot of Jay-Z. I think I have just about every Jay-Z album upstairs. Yeah, for me, hip hop and rap is I'm after lyrics. That's really what I'm after.
Yeah, literally the last month, my playlist has been all over the shop. I decided to sort of revisit shit that I listened to years ago because I'm saying I can go from Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, all the way up to like Rammstein to rock, punk, everything. I'm all over the fucking shop to country if I'm in the mood. But I think recently I was listening to Foo Schnickets. I don't know if you remember the old hip hop band. They're fucking brilliant. You might like their lyrics. It's quite fast. It's funny. And been listening to a lot of that. And fucking found my old Weezer album. God, I can't believe it. Such happy, cute, happy, cheesy music. You listen to it, it makes you wince. You're like, fuck, I used to listen to that. We listened to a fuck ton of Madness because I love fucking Madness. Such a good band. Yeah, I've just been literally all over the shop. And then, what else? A bit of Yellow Wolf for some unknown reason. That popped up again. So don't mind a bit of his stuff. What else have I been listening to? A bit of Punk Rock Factory because they got a new album coming out. Sex Pistols I listen to quite a lot. What else have I been listening to? That's really been about it. Bangra music I listen to because of the wife. So a bit of Asian music's pretty good. And there's an Asian death metal band which is really weird. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's Bangra drums to death metal. And it's actually pretty good.
You're gonna have to link that somewhere because I'm gonna have to give that a listen.
It is so weird, and I'll be listening to Tibetan throat singing as well recently. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, I've just been fucking all over the shop.
Sifu just brought up Post Malone. Now, while I don't listen to Post Malone because I can't get onto it, going not even anywhere near him, but just somebody that reminds me of a cleaner, as in physically cleaner version of him is Ed Sheeran. My grandmother, who passed away about a year and a half ago, was a huge fan of Andrea Bocelli. And if you've never listened to any of Andrea Bocelli's music, it's classical, but give it a listen. It's in Italian. Most of it's in Italian. I don't understand any of the fucking words, but it's just such a beautiful melody. I came across maybe a week or two after she passed a song that Ed Sheeran did with Andrea Bocelli. Amazing fucking song. Absolutely.
His Christmas song got jammed in my head for about a month. I could not get his Christmas song with Elton John out of my head. I heard it like literally in the background at work, and then it was just fucking stuck there.
I mean, that genre isn't really even something that I gravitate towards, but for some reason, anytime, if I happen to come across, like if Spotify is just playing random shit and Ed Sheeran pops up, I'm not going to change it.
Yeah.
He does. He's fucking talented for what he does, and they're also catchy.
I don't use Spotify. I have Spotify, but I haven't used it in a really long time. I basically just use Apple Music now, which is dirty and gross and fuck Apple. But I basically just use Apple Music now. I said all that because I'm sitting next to the biggest Apple fanboy I've ever met in my life, and he hates it when I talk shit about him. Yeah, I feel you. I've been indoctrinated too. It's okay. But I sent Josh a link to my Apple Music page, my account.
Awesome.
If you want to drop it in chat, you can. I make a lot of playlists. People are free to, because one of the cool things on Apple is you can actually follow each other and listen to the playlists that they're making and stuff like that. If anybody does want to follow me on Apple to listen to the music that I listen to or whatever, you absolutely can. That's dope. I'll follow you back.
Yeah, definitely. Because we add songs to a playlist that we have on Spotify after every show.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna have to give you some music before I dip out then.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting towards the end at 55 minutes, so we're
doing
much,
it pretty soon.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really have. I mean, apart from I do have one other question. What was the last concert that you went to that you thoroughly enjoyed? I'm not talking about something that you just randomly came across because you wanted to go to a concert, something that you hunted down, waited, and paid for these tickets and were genuinely excited to go. What was this last concert?
For me, it was a few years ago, and most people probably wouldn't know these bands, but there was a local Rochester band called Until We Are Ghosts, and they had a show alongside another band called 100th, and both of those bands I was huge fans of, but I'd never, I'd found their music through like merch stuff at like other shows that I had been to, became a really big fan of both of them, and then they did like a collaboration show in Rochester, and it was one of the last shows I went to, pre-COVID and things like that. And I was genuinely stoked to be there. It was an amazing show. It was one of the last mosh pits I got to dip my toes into. I live in the pit, you guys. I know I'm getting older. The pit is a lot rougher and harder on me than it used to be. But I'm a mosh pit veteran. That's home for me at a show, like that. And yeah, it was fantastic. It was wonderful. Yeah, that would have been the last like show that I was like really stoked about and was super pleased with after I left.
Yeah, one of my just kind of an aside, one of my most memorable things from a concert that I went to when I was younger, I went to Ozfest. I've been to multiple, but this one sticks out. Ozfest 2001 was when Slipknot was there when they debuted their self-titled album. I got punched in the back of the head by Corey Taylor as he was crowd surfing.
Sure.
Because, as a stupid kid, you're down in the pit. Especially with Slipknot. He's crowd surfing. I get clocked in the head. He stops the whole fucking show. Picks me up and goes, "You all right?" I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I was having this conversation with someone a little while ago about pit etiquette. And there really is pit etiquette. If you've ever, you don't get into a pit to just violently hurt people.
No.
The pit is a community. It's a place to let out that aggression, to let out that energy. But in a way that, you're going to get kind of beat up. You're going to get roughed around. But like I will take it as a personal attack on myself if I see someone go down in a pit and someone kicks them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to kick you. If you're the guy that kicked the guy that's down, I'm kicking you. I'm taking you down and I'm helping them up. A pit is a place that like, when you see somebody go down, you help them up. There's a lot of people that get into pits and they're just there to cause people harm. And we got to get those guys out of the pit. That's not how this goes. Yeah. From a distance, when you look at a mosh pit, you go, that's nothing but anarchy and violence. But really, the people who know how to run a pit, who've been in those places before, who love the pit, we approach it a lot differently, and we try to keep people as safe as possible. It is a place to swing your arms, and like I've punched people, I've been punched, I've been dragged out before. But that's never the intent, is to like really cause serious harm to each other. The intent is it's like a community. There's one of my favorite movies, talking about punk rock, but one of my favorite movies is SLC Punk, for anybody who's ever seen it. It's an amazing film.
Matt Lillard,
the Steve-O, the actor who's Matthew Lillard plays Steve-O, and he goes on a lot of these different tangents and rants and things throughout the show. But one of the things he says, is how to, punk rocks, how do we communicate with each other? By hitting each other. And that's really like, that's kind of the mentality, like, but it's there's a lot of love in the pit, and I think that's where it comes from. One of my favorite pits of all time actually was Bad Religion. I saw Bad Religion in Buffalo in 2008. And I can remember vividly, like, I had lost my friend who had gone with me. He was there to see them as well. We'd kind of lost each other. There were some other bands playing and stuff. We kind of lost each other, but I remember getting into a pit and like you could see two other pits happening from the pit that I was in. And so I was in that pit, and then I kind of got shuffled away from that pit and thrown into another pit. And that's where I found my friend in the pit. Like I remember like we collided and we stopped and we looked at each other and we were like, oh, hey man. And then we were like, okay, let's run this pit. You know, it was something like that moment, that interaction. And like, neither of us really said anything to each other. Like we bumped into each other, realized it. And then we were like, oh, we're going to run this pit. And so we continued to run that pit. And then we migrated to the third pit, which was closer to the stage. And it was an incredible thing. It's something I'll never forget.
Adam, how about you?
I think my favourite one was Ozzy Osbourne when they had Black Label Society afterwards. So Zach Wilde played on both. And it was an amazing gig. But what topped it was you're looking at him going, it was when he was at his height of his drugs, like right at the end. And you're like, he's going to drop in a minute. He's going to fucking drop in a minute. He fucking went for 2 hours straight, did not stop. Fucking running backwards and forwards. You could see his pupils, and I was quite a way back. And you think, mate, is he going to survive?
Like
mate, it was unbelievable. And seeing Zach Wilde live was so incredible. And he done the tribute to Dimebag, that In This River. And it's normally like a 4-minute song. It went on for like 15 minutes. It was like a solid 8-minute solo. And it still gives me goosebumps now thinking about it. That was, for the £180 I spent on that ticket, it was the best £180 I've ever spent.
Yeah.
And my first ever gig I went to was fucking incredible. Saw Rammstein with their release album in the UK.
Oh, nice.
I was like 12. And my mum took me and my mate. And he goes, go on, in you go. And then they fucked off. And there's like 7-foot German biker guys. And we're just getting fucking thrown about. And you just see my mate's legs in the air where he's getting tossed about. And then he pulled out a fake knob and pissed vodka over the crowd. So we got it all in our eyes. And we come out absolutely shit-faced. I was like, you're like, yeah, I'm all right. And there's two little boys with like tie-dye T-shirts in like a German industrial metal band. It was fucking brilliant.
I can remember
I
one
love
of the,
to see them live.
I guess one of the only times I've ever been kind of genuinely like afraid. I saw Killswitch Engage in 2005 maybe, and where we were in this kind of outside auditorium thing. And I can remember the lead singer going like this and then this. And I didn't know what that meant. I had no idea what he was doing, but everyone around me did. And the entire crowd split. They call it parting of the sea.
Yep.
And so everyone left me. And I was just kind of left in the middle with like a few other clueless, deer in headlights kids that had no idea what was happening. And then he clapped. And everyone charged us. I felt like I was in the middle of the battle for Middle Earth. You know what I mean? Like I was dead center for it. It went better than what I envisioned. Like in that moment, I was like, I'm about to be split in half. Like this is it for me. I had a good ride. It's over. I'll never see 20. But no, I survived it. I walked out of there with only a couple of bumps and bruises. But yeah, that was another one of those moments I'll never forget. It's just like deer in headlights. Like, are we done? Like what? Oh,
I think the weirdest one for me was I had to take a mate and his two mates see Marilyn Manson. And I heard of his music and I was like, I wasn't really clued up on what was going on. That was a sight that I'm never going to fucking get out of my head. And everyone's doing this. And I never forget my mate's girlfriend went like, put her hand up and he bit her hand. And I was like, if someone buys my hand, I'm punching you in the throat. It was just weird.
He puts on an amazing show. Like his showmanship is amazing. He was at the same Ozfest and put on an amazing show.
I've heard Gwar shows are really good. Tribal Buddha said something about to Gwar, and I've heard those are some incredible shows as well. Yeah. One of my favorite shows, like showmanship, like fun, not necessarily like super memorable, but a lot of fun. I saw Flogging Molly play outside at this venue, and it was in the middle of summer. It was basically in like a dirt field, and they broke out this huge hose, like not quite the size of a fire hose, but still a
Yeah.
huge hose, and just proceeded to spray the crowd. And what was essentially a dust pit became a mud pit. And it was just a ton of fun. I mean, we all walked out of there just gross, just absolutely filthy. But it was a great show.
That was the ending to Warped Tour in 2005 out in Western Mass.
Yeah.
It was
I missed Warped Tour, man.
Outdoor fairgrounds up in like North Adams or something like that. North something or other, like way out in the fucking boonies. We had such a great time, but it had rained for like 3 days prior to that. They didn't give a shit. They're still going to have the concert. They want to make the money. The bands are there to play. By the time we left, we were me, my wife, my friend Andrew, and a couple other people all packed up into my little Buick Century and made the 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive up there. And we were just covered head to toe in mud. They were calling us mud people, mud cakes, mud men, the whole 9 yards. But it was so much fun.
Sure,
so much fun.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of mud, man.
See,
nothing wrong with a little bit of mud.
We had a lads' holiday to Tenerife, and we went. There was apparently a 3-day festival. We went down to the beach, and it was a reggae festival on the beach. And Damian Marley was there. And as he started playing Medication, the fucking heavens opened, and it's like brilliant sunshine and just this warm rain, and you're on the beach. And it was like an all-day festival. It was one of the best festivals I've ever just come across, and it was free. It was just on the beach, and that was fucking brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So mine is it's going to be no surprise because I was just talking about these bands not 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago now. So a few towns over into Rhode Island, we have a AAA baseball stadium for the Pawtucket Red Sox, and there was a concert there for Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Flogging Molly, Dropkick Murphys, and one other band that I can't really recall at the moment. They were the opener, so nobody was really there for them anyway. Everybody was stocking up on beer as they were playing. I had looked forward to this show for so long, and it wasn't even all that expensive. It was like $50 to get in. And but the most memorable part about it is we started up in the nosebleeds, and somehow by the end of the night we were down right in front of the stage. We just systematically moved closer.
Just migrated.
Security, like we'd watch security and them doing their rounds, and as soon as there was like nobody around, we'd be like, okay, we've got like 2 seconds, let's go.
Yeah.
Hopping down the bleachers and whatnot. But if you have a chance to see any of them live, or if you've seen them live, fucking amazing bands. Absolutely amazing bands.
Yeah.
You have to see them.
Yeah.
There's no.
Do you prefer indoor or outdoor venues?
For me, it depends on the genre.
Okay.
Something like punk rock or metalcore or hardcore, that shit needs to be done outside.
Yeah, you need space.
You need room. Yes.
This is the result of mosh pits right here.
Yep. You got all the kids doing the 2-step and everything else that you need the room. You got to let them swing and
have to hold
and have a lot of fun.
Got to let the windmillers produce their clean energy, you know?
But when it comes to like country, or I mean, I do enjoy a little bit of classical. It's Christmas time classical. It's a Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, sure. Christmas. Sorry,
that stuff
reference.
For me, that stuff is much better done inside.
Sure, I think some things deserve like a legit like auditorium.
Yeah, the acoustics play a huge role. Yeah. But there are some that don't need the acoustics because they're just fine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and too, like I've listened to people do acoustic sets like in tents, you know, and stuff like that. But I think as a whole, just given kind of my preferences in music and what I gravitate to, going to shows, what I'm going to spend money on, going to see, who I'm going to see, a lot of that tends to be outside. Like I prefer outside. And trust me, I've been in plenty of indoor venues to go see hardcore shows.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are great, but a lot of them tend to have, steel beams in the middle of where the mosh pit is and things like this that can be really dangerous. I've bounced off plenty of steel beams in my life.
Shows.
So I just think when it comes to, I agree with you. It depends on the music. But more often than not for me, like it's an outdoor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to our closing remarks. We're going to go ahead and thank Mr. Anthony Ramella, who is in our chat tonight, for producing my logo, doing up the intro to our lovely show here. He does a bang up job. Hit him up on Instagram, Shake and Bake Media, or I am Anthony Ramella.
I am _
shakeandbakemedia.com. Any of your multimedia needs, he does amazing work. We didn't get to thank Frank. I don't think Frank stopped by tonight, but thank you, Frank, for the $4.13 every month from Patreon. You're the best, man. If anybody does want to join our Patreon, that'd be great. If not, no big deal. We can't tell you how to spend your money, but we do have a Patreon. Where we going? Social media, email, websites. It's all scrolling down the bottom of the screen now. I don't really have to list it, but I'm gonna. You can find me pretty much anywhere. The Vaping Jedi on Instagram. Give us a follow. Email acrossthepondusuk@gmail.com if you feel like shooting us an email for whatever reason. We did one give back that was that turned out really great. We got somebody, we got a new user, some new gear, and she absolutely loves it. I do have a video somewhere from Matt, but we'll figure out how we can get that out to the masses. Maybe we'll put it up on Discord or something, so everybody can take a look. Websites, Adam, cloudcartel.co.uk. Sorry, Cloud Cartel UK, or just
cloudcartel.co.uk now.
So
keep it simple.
Merch, whatever, anything goings on for Adam, you can find at cloudcartel.co.uk. We're on Facebook.
Yes, we've got if you want to find out your local advocacy group. I want to thank Logan as well for allowing me to put the Cassar podcast straight on the advocacy page on my website. So you can head over there and you can, it just lists all of them on there. There's also got Australia advocacy groups, UK, America, European, and at the bottom, if you don't know, if your country's not on there, there's INNCO, and they've got a database of all your local harm reduction groups.
INCO, yeah.
And at the very, very bottom is a link to get Dr. Colin Mendelssohn's book as well. And on there's a free preview as well if you want to read the first couple of pages. It's well worth getting hold of that book as well.
Speaking of INCO, they are hosting a webinar about advocacy burnout, which I'm sure all of us have felt at one time or another.
Never.
It's a real thing. You can either register to be a guest, or you just register to view the webinar. I'm not sure. A link was posted in the Grim Army group, so if you're in that group, go ahead and check that out. I think it's March 2nd or March 12th. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it should be a good time. Anybody, you guys have anything else to say before we put our songs up and say goodnight?
Where can we find you, Logan?
Where can you find me?
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm an asshole.
Oh, you're all right. Everybody they're here for you guys. They're not here for me. Slogan Exhales across the board, Twitter, Instagram. I don't use Facebook. Sorry, everybody. You can follow me there. You can follow me on Twitch, which is kind of the only one that's different. It's Earth to Logan, all one word, Earth to Logan on Twitch. That's where all of my video content, my live streams, all that stuff, that's where that's at nowadays. Any social media that you go to of mine, any of the links in my bios will literally just bring up a list of all my other social medias. So if you find me somewhere and you don't know where else to find me, just click my link. It'll take you all over the place. Other than that, the only thing I want to plug is CASA. Again, if you're not a CASA member, if you're here in the U.S., please join CASA. It's absolutely free. You can get all the calls to action, emails, all those fun things. Submit your testimony. We have over 13,000 testimonies from people's stories, their success stories, them switching away from combustible to safer alternatives, which is really important for us and for everybody as a whole. And tune in every Saturday. Alex, Kristen, and I go live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern to recap what's going on right now in legislation and policy. We take deep dives into topics as well as covering some of the major articles that are coming out each week. So definitely all that. All the CASA things, do all the CASA things. Before you follow me anywhere, go follow CASA. And most of our social medias and YouTube and all that stuff is all at CASA Media.
Cool. Adam, if you want to bring up Steve's most recent comment, where did it go? Steve, Tribal Buddha, my dude. Grim is actually going to be on. He is a panelist. He is speaking for in that INCO webinar. So good shout. Fucking Addy Tooney, all over it. Love it. Love that man. Awesome. Great show. Had a blast. We're going to close it out with some songs. Chat, if you want to go ahead and start picking some songs, we'll randomly pick one as we usually do to add to the Spotify playlist. I'm going to go first. Fuck it. So, as I said, my music is back and forth everywhere. So tonight we have Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash and Space Oddity, David Bowie.
Ooh.
Okay.
Awesome. Good picks. Are we picking two?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Do I pick two?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. Okay. You guys are really gonna put me on the spot here, huh?
That's what we do.
That's actually one of the ones I was thinking of. Jay already knows me. He knows me too well already. That's a scary thought. So yeah, my first pick, I'm gonna go with Akudama by Alpha Wolf. They're an Australian band.
Yep.
Excellent song. And just to take a hard left turn, I'm gonna go with Reasoned and Roughened by Twin Forks.
Twin Forks, did you say?
Twin Forks.
Okay. Cool. Right. I don't know why I'm picking this song because I do actually fucking really love this song. It's Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. Have
How
a bit
can
of
you
a
not
boogie.
like Bob Seger?
No, I was saying I listened to it the other day and I haven't listened to it in ages. I'm also going to go with Balls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine.
Excellent. Yeah, and Jedi, if you wanted to, feel free to share that link in chat to my Apple if anybody wants to hang out with me on Apple and listen to music, whatever.
You sent it over from Discord?
I did. Yep. So if anybody's on Apple Music, you want to check it out, there you go.
If Discord wants to actually load.
People chuck a couple of songs in chat and we'll pick a couple while you're there. Well, we've got a couple in there anyway. We've got Forrest Whitaker, Brother Ali. We've got
Daddy
the
Cool by the
Carburetors.
Carburetors.
We have
Anthony Ramella thrown in Tupac. Oh, Monster Flames. Yeah, changes from Tupac. Damn.
All right, that's going on there.
Oh, Tribal Buddha, my heart, my brother, Six Pack, Black Flag.
Would you want to add?
Man,
would you want to add that one as well? Six Pack.
I mean, you could put just about any Black Flag song, and I'm gonna be a happy man.
Yeah, we got our two from chat. Definitely changes by Tupac and Six Pack Black Flag.
Cool. So
I'm
weird.
going to try and if my computer will cooperate, I'm going to throw that link into chat for you, Logan.
That's okay if you can't get it. I just figured I'd share it since our whole discussion tonight was all music. So unfortunately, I really don't use Spotify anymore. I have Spotify, but I've moved away
from it.
There it is.
Cool.
Misfits. Tribal, I got to ask you, though, if you're a Misfits fan, which era? Because I know
I know is a Misfits fan.
Yeah, which era? Because I'm personally a Michael Graves fan. That's the era of the Misfits that I have a deep appreciation, but for everything else. But I'm definitely a Michael Graves guy. It's my go-to whenever I see anybody in a Misfits shirt. I'm like, which era? Oh, you're a Danzig guy? We were almost friends, Buddha. No, I'm just kidding.
Hip hop. Yeah, mate.
So here's the thing with Danzig, right? Before we go, here's the thing with Danzig is the music. He's the Elvis of horror punk. Fantastic. Danzig's got a great voice. It went so well. OG Misfits it's just amazing. 20 Eyes, come on. Amazing. But Glenn Danzig is kind of a piece of shit. When he left the Misfits, he tried to claim all of the rights to the Misfits and didn't want them to continue making music without him. Fortunately enough, the band retained their rights. They beat him in court, and they were able to go on and continue to make amazing horror punk rock. But yeah, Glenn Danzig's kind of a piece of shit. Musically, love. As a person, piece of shit.
Excellent.
He agrees with you. He calls you an arsehole in person.
He's an asshole in person. Yeah, that's it. There's an excellent video of Glenn Danzig getting knocked out in one punch on YouTube. If anybody wants to go watch it, it's one of my favorite things.
Cool. Right. Oh, I think we're there now.
Anything else from chat? Anything else from you two lovely people?
No, I'm good.
I think job's a good one. I think we're done.
Cool.
Another successful show. Right. Logan, again, thank you very much for
thank you guys for having me on.
Taking on at a last moment. Chat, thank you everybody for the continuous support. Coming out every couple of weeks and hanging out with us.
I forgot. We got Codename Wired tomorrow, so make sure you come in.
Cheers, Duchess. Wired. Duchess, you're probably going to have to run that show because Adam's going to be dog shit tomorrow. Just be nice to everybody. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, be excellent to
Keep on vaping. If you guys want, if you haven't joined already, swing on over to the Across the Pond Discord. We have some fun. Sewer Rug and I have been going crazy in the dad joke section for a while. It's pretty funny. Again, Addy, thanks for coming. Steve, Ern, you guys are great. Everybody is definitely family here, but we appreciate you wherever you are. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Have a great night, day, morning, because I saw Breeze Tones was here. He's in the future.
We got hip hop. It's like 1 in the morning. He's got out of bed for a vape, so he decides to jump in. Fucking hell! All right. Well, everyone, be nice. Have a good one. See you later.
Thanks again, Logan.